Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So here's the video I promised that I said I was going to try to do. Yes, I have cut my hair. It was, a little bit of a change that I needed, and yeah, I'm here for it. I thoroughly enjoy it, and it was a good decision. So from yesterday's video, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support and the comments and the messages that I've been receiving. I really appreciate it, guys. I am slowly getting to the point when, getting back on track, and definitely doing these types of videos helps. So, oh God, I think it was last year I did a video on PTSD. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I will link it down below. But yeah, going into that video was a little scary, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I said that was basically like the tipping point. So I was going to go into different kind of stages and stuff. So I want to talk about triggers. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and debate them, because triggers is, different for everybody with different situations and stuff. So I want to have an open conversation about my triggers and, how I've learned to see the warning signs that I'm going to be triggered, or just kind of how I've processed through that. And yeah, so let's get into it. So one of the big, huge triggers, we're just gonna get it out there, is sex. Okay, sex is a big trigger for me, especially after, everything I went through and the trauma related to sexual assault. And sex does not come easy to me. And I did a video, 2-3 videos about getting physical and all that stuff. Sorry, family, if you're watching this. But yeah, definitely sex is a huge fucking trigger. And a lot of people don't understand that. And, I don't want to say all males, because not all males are like that. But, and again, not to make myself sound like, that I've been out there, a lot of the partners that I've been with, not saying all, and I'm not saying that I've, done a lot. I basically can count on one hand, just putting it out there. Again, nothing wrong with having a lot of sex. If that's you, do you. Have fun. Just be safe, protection, birth control, all that good stuff, condoms, and just look after yourself. For me, sex is it's a trigger and a very uncomfortable situation, because most partners I've been with haven't been that thought forward. They basically just want their pleasure and to do what they want. And it's never really been about me and what I want, right? Again, sex is not a good situation with me, and I haven't fully, okay, we're having this open conversation, why not stick it out there? Again, sorry family if you're listening to this. At one point I was having a semi-sexual relationship with a really close friend of mine that, I guess, yeah, we were dating, and then we went our separate ways, and we're really good friends now. However, he taught me a lot about my body, and what I not desire, but how to make me feel good and sexy and attractive. And he was very patient and kind and sweet, and he put me first, and I was very uncomfortable with that for a very long time. And then just having that open conversation and not making me feel little or disgusting or just uncomfortable. And then after we got out of that relationship, and again, we're friends to this day. I know, a little bit awkward. Not really, actually. We're pretty, like, whatever. Like, and, relationships that have come after him, it's a struggle. And I know what it's like I feel it when, my partners are very frustrated at the fact that sex does not come easy to me. And that triggers me. I get stressed out. I get anxiety from that because I basically feel like I have to put it out there that if I don't, then like I'm a shitty partner, I'm disgusting and all that stuff. Like, it's a whole big fucking process for me. It's a big trigger. Like, there's lots of things that I get triggered by when it comes to sex. That's great. And it's just stressful. It's stressful when you're with somebody that that they are sexually frustrated, that they are frustrated, and that sex doesn't come easy to me. Like, they don't have to say it, but you can feel it, and you can feel the tension, and I feel like a horrible human being. And that causes me to shut down a lot more, and and then, my partner or whatever at the time be like, well, you don't find me sexually attractive and blah, blah, blah. And it has nothing to do with that. It's just like the pressure that I feel in the situation, even though that they don't mean to put on the pressure. It's a lot. It's a lot for me, and even trying to explain it and stuff to them, because I know that's one thing I'm getting in the comments. Well, why don't you have a conversation with them? I do. And, they don't fully understand, or they don't want to fully understand, and they are still frustrated. And, it puts the pressure on me to be like, well, every time we're alone and we're like in a semi-intimate situation, it's like, well, I have to give the sex, because that is what a partner does. And that is kind of like what has been giving off to me. It's like, well, not that they're saying, well, you have to, like, this is your duty. Some men are sexually driven, right? That's not a bad thing. It's just that when you're with a partner that is sexually damaged like me, it's a lot for them. And I understand that. And having that conversation, and I get it. Not that they're not going to fully understand. I mean, whoever has never been in that situation, and God forbid, I hope, nobody is, but of course that's wishful thinking. It's a whole lot of mess, right? And I know that they try to understand, but sometimes, they're just frustrated with it and be like, just get over it, right? And I understand how easy that can feel, but there's a lot of fucking emotions that go into this, especially if you are triggered. Sorry, I have some dry skin, and this topic is making me a little bit, whatever, but we're going for it. We are going for this. But yeah, it is a lot of complexity, and I tend to shut down, and I just sometimes don't know how to get out of that. And, being once with a partner that was very understanding, and, not to put pressure on anybody out there, and every relationship is different, right? And just coming from a person that, like, helped me process everything through that and worked with me through my trauma and was very, like, down to earth about it, and, took the time and process of explaining things to me, and not rushing into anything or putting that, like, a label on it of, like, you have to do the sex, it's your duty type of thing, right? And, I'm really grateful for that time. And not that it feels like I have taken any steps back, it's just trying to figure out my own body right now, especially when it comes to sex, because, you know, I have put on a little bit of weight and I don't feel the most attractive. And, you know, when you feel that tension coming from your partner and you're just like, oh my God, what the fuck? And the anxiety kicks in and then you get emotional. Well, talking in the third person here, great. Try to keep, like, sorry guys. It's just easier to explain that with being, okay, whatever. Anyways, you get it. You've been watching these videos long enough to, you know, see. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot. And that is one of my triggers that is really, really hard for me to process through and get over that hump. And it's very frustrating for me, you know, coming from, you know, sorry, fuck, that piece of skin was really bothering me. Coming from a bad sexual situation, right? Even, like, I lost my virginity to my abuser, okay? Well, at least one of my abusers. That sounds terrible, but it's fact, right? So I never had a good sexual experience. Again, sorry family if you're watching this. So, and I was young when this shit happened, right? So just having to process all of that and realizing that, you know, sex could actually be a good feeling. Oh God, I don't even know how to explain this. It sounds so weird. Oh no. It's just, it's hard to process that, and your body reacts very differently to it, right? And to just get your body on track with your mind, it's very complicated and a fucking nightmare to process all of this. But yeah, like, that's what a lot of people, I find, like, when I talk about this, especially to males, they're like, well, you must have had sex after that. Yeah, once, okay? And that was my learning process of learning about my body and all that stuff. And then after that, you know, it's still a journey, right? It's honestly always going to be a journey of learning my own body, learning, you know, that sex is good, that, you know, all of that stuff. You know, I was in sexual, well, okay, I shouldn't, okay. So yeah, I was in sexual relationships after my abusers, but I was in a really shitty mindset of just, you know, pleasuring the men and just doing what they said and not having a say in it. And then I got to the, you know, good part of, like, you know, learning about myself. And then after that, it felt like I lost a piece of myself to that person in a good way. And just trying to get that, like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain. But anyways, yeah, that's a major trigger. Oh man, we are talking about sex a lot these days. But anyways, we're here. But yeah, so that's one of my main triggers. Another few triggers are kind of, I want to say, more common, which is smell, taste, sound. I've had that. Like, gum is an absolute uncomfortable situation. It used to trigger me a whole lot because my abusers loved to chew gum at some point because they were hiding the alcohol and drugs and all that shit. So just, like, hearing that chewing sound, it is very, it feels like I'm crawling out of my skin type of thing. That also goes towards, like, people chewing with their mouth open or very, very loudly. Like, it literally feels like I have to nail my feet to the ground or else I'm gonna be, like, running out of the room screaming, because that is just such a trigger, and just, it brings me back to them, like, breathing heavily in my ear and hearing them chew. It's so, like, oh my God, it just makes my skin crawl. So, you know, I've kind of learned to, well, I don't chew gum at all. People that chew gum around me or whatever, I've just learned to kind of just take a deep breath and kind of bring myself to the place of, like, you know, these people, you've known them for a long time, they aren't gonna hurt you type of thing, and that's helped. There's certain songs can't listen to. That's a big trigger that brings me back to, some of them used to play music in the background while they were doing their, stuff to me. And yeah, that's very triggering. Brings me back to that time and that place. So there's just some songs that I just kind of stay away from. And or that songs that remind me of like the person I was back then, and it just breaks my heart and I just can't do it. There's certain smells that for whatever reason, like it could be the most randomest smell, sometimes that triggers me and that brings back like a flashback, or just like me hyperventilating, and I can feel my anxiety, that's hard to kind of process. I just have to deep breathe and try to walk myself through it. This is going to be a really complicated one to explain. So try to bear with me. I would do my best to explain it. So not that I have a triggering trigger when it comes to letting people down. I mean, I guess that's kind of it, but when people get like mad and upset at me, like really aggressive, mad and upset, I tend to be triggered and I shut down completely. I've actually learned about this in therapy. This is interesting. Way back in the day. But yeah, because that's what my abusers used to do. So they used to get very aggressive, very angry, very like loud, and I would always constantly put the pressure on myself to not fuck up. Don't do anything to piss them off or to make them angry. So when I fuck up now, or like make a mistake like people do, we're not perfect, or people get mad and angry and aggressive towards me, I fucking freak out and shut down. I cry. It's just a fucking thing. I literally shut down. Like I just fucking shut down. Like I don't, like it's just a protective mechanism, right? Like it's almost like my body's preparing for a hit or a touch or just violent words, right? It's very fascinating how the human body tends to protect us, and we don't even consciously realize it sometimes. But yeah, I know that this is a very strange one, and again, complicated to like explain and to understand. Dear God, I hope people don't go through that, but unfortunately, I know that's not the case. But I just want to, share my experiences and whatnot. But yeah, shutting down is one of the things. Like I get very quiet. I just want to be by myself. I just want to be with my comfort of like my teddy bears, my stuffed animals, my fluffy blanket. It's just like I want to be in comfort. And I tend to not, I know that this is a very taboo thing. But unfortunately, it is common in people that have gone through trauma. And again, it's going to make people uncomfortable, so I'm sorry about this, but this is just kind of like an easy way of explaining this. I have a tendency to do, when I go into this state of like complete shutdown, I need comfort, a little side of me comes out. Now, let me explain that. I not necessarily like have like power over this. Sometimes it just happens. I tend to not turn into like a little girl, but tendencies of turning into a little. So if you guys don't know what a little is, that is a person who is either in a stressful situation, or some people can turn it on and off. They turn into like a little child of themselves. So like either 4 or 5 or whatever. I don't necessarily go into a full-blown state of this, I just get very quiet and, you know, again, just want to be with my comfort things. Maybe I color, maybe I watch a cartoon, but it's just like this very, I don't know, it's a weird mechanism, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack and a lot of people being like, this is fucking weird. But again, talking through therapy, this is just a way that my body and mind protect myself. So when I'm in this state and like I'm I don't know, sorry, this is just really, I haven't really talked about this to people, and fuck it, here it goes, it's on the internet, so hiya. I tend to just, when people like talk to me in this state, and I'm very thankful that I have amazing friends that have actually seen me in this state and have been so sweet and kind and understanding and caring towards me, that, you know, they talk to me softly. And not to say that like I need to be babied or anything, I don't need that. They join in and they play games with me, and they just, you know, help me relax and feel comfortable, and then we can have a conversation. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just something that happens to a lot of people that live through trauma, and it, you know, varies on a scale of like they go into a full-blown kid mode, like they have a toy room and they're like, you know, adults and stuff. You know, and I know it's very taboo and a lot of people don't like talking about this, but you know, and I was ashamed of this for the fucking longest times, guys. I'm not even gonna joke. I thought I was weird, creepy, crazy, whatever. But talking with a therapist and doing research, I'm not alone in this, you know? And yes, it is very taboo, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because to them it's creepy and weird and uncomfortable. And, you know, I don't always have these situations. You know, it's not a very common thing for me, but when I do get into that state, you know, just having people around me that love and support and, you know, just want to protect me, and just get me to a safe place, you know, in my mind mentally, and, you know, so we can process what I'm feeling, what triggered me and whatnot. And I'm just very thankful for those friends, and I don't know what I would have done if I never met them. You know, they are amazing, amazing human beings, and I am very thankful for them. And they have also, you know, gone to therapy with me before, and, you know, just having people that just, I don't know, I'm not used to it. I get very, this is another trigger, guys. It's another weird one. I guess this is all getting wrapped up into a nice little bow here. You know, I don't even know how to explain this. I don't even know how to explain this. I guess just I get very sad when I let people down, and, you know, that's a very big trigger for me, so that's kind of related to that. But just having people that are there supporting me through the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I'm not used to people being kind to me, right? So when people are kind to me and caring, I tend to get my back up and I tend to shut down just a little bit, because I was traumatized so much for so many years in a range of things. It makes me uncomfortable when people are kind to me, when they are caring, when they respect me. It can be really overwhelming and a little bit triggering. And I know how stupid that sounds, guys, but again, it's very hard to understand something if you haven't gone through it. And I'm very thankful for those that have never gone through something like this. But yeah, when somebody calls me beautiful or whatever, it's a little overwhelming. And, you know, I tend to come off like I don't believe it, because in a way, part of me doesn't believe it, and the other part is just like, yeah, I'm not that. Like, no, what do you want? Like, you're saying something because why? Do you want something from me? Type of thing. It's a battle that I have with myself, because, you know, there are moments where I do feel sexy and I do feel beautiful, and, you know, I feel confident in my own body and skin. And then, you know, when people notice that, like, I don't know how that sounds so douchey, but whatever. And when they say you have a nice smile and stuff, like, it makes me so uncomfortable. And, you know, I've gotten better at it, guys. I used to be fucking terrible at it. And, you know, there were still some times where I'm pretty shitty at it. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to this. What do I do? What do I do in this situation? Somebody help me, oh no. But yeah, I've kind of just learned to take a deep breath, say thank you, and, you know, smile about it. Other days, it's very, like, it's hard. It makes me want to cry because I get anxiety from that, and it's really fucked up. So fucked up. I'm a fucked up human being, but hey, here we are sharing all of this stuff, right? Again, look, I'm not, like I said, I'm sharing it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff that people get uncomfortable with. Like, this is what it is. Because, you know, for so long I have felt so alone, and then, you know, realizing when that was loud, sorry. When I got out of my little cocoon and my little safety, that, you know, I never wanted somebody to feel alone like I did. And, you know, again, some of the stuff I talk about is very taboo, very uncomfortable. And, you know, that's what I'm here for, guys, because there's always going to be that one person out there that feels like, oh my God, this is like, what the fuck's wrong with me type of thing. Or, you know, why am I feeling this? Or like, you know, fuck, I must be the only one out there, right? But if I could share a lot, and somebody can, like, either relate to it, take a little bit from it, or be like, hey, I can come to this person and talk to them without being judged, I am very thankful for that. You know, this is my window of letting people in and knowing that they can come to me and talk to me. Yes, I have to earn it. And trust me, putting some of these uncomfortable topics out there, hopefully people are like, hey, that's a person I can talk to. I'm not alone in this. And even if they don't reach out to me or contact me, as long as they know that they aren't alone, that yes, our situations, our experiences, our trauma are probably completely different. But if you are noticing things or can relate to stuff and be like, hey, like, I go through something like that, or wait, what? Type of thing, I'm very thankful for that, because I know how scary it is to feel so alone and to be feeling like you're crazy and whatnot. So this is why I do these uncomfortable fucking videos. Because hey, we're all human, we do some weird shit, but hey, we're here for it. So anyways, guys, here's kind of, I guess, part 2, or just like a topic related to PTSD. Yeah, those are some of my triggers and very uncomfortable situations that I go through and topics. But hey, we are here for it. Anyways, guys, remember, never give up, always keep fighting. You're enough, and you are very much loved. Until the next video, guys, stay safe. Love you guys.